Seems to me that there's a general consensus or a assumption that there has always been a ruling elite. There has always been the stratification of society that we see today, and that this is somehow a natural social hierarchy. I completely disagree with this because there is really nothing natural about our social hierarchy. Hello and welcome. My name is Adam Lane, and this is the search for terrestrial intelligence. It's not that social hierarchies don't exist in nature. Of course they do. But what we experience in today's world is the result of our separation from natural order. The human species is separated itself, and I think this happened gradually, from nature, from being, in a sense, immersed in the influence of natural order. And so we became separate in consciousness and thus fractured in consciousness. I know that the ruling elite, the royal families, and governmental structures, they love to use the symbols of a natural order to try to give the impression that that's what they're doing. They're filling the role of archetypal leaders because that's the way of nature. But it's not the way of nature. But they love to use the symbols of the lion, the symbols of the eagle, with putting powerful predators on their family crests and so on and so forth. They're just filling the role that nature provided for them. They're not trying to dominate, control, conquer anything. They're just filling a role. And without the ruling elite, where would humanity be? They would be lost. They would be unable to guide themselves. They would be unable to manage, right? But that's false too. That is a condition that has been instilled into the consciousness, into the psychology. I've been saying this for quite a while. There really isn't a problem in our world with a tyranny. There isn't a problem with a ruling elite. Those are not the problems. Those are the symptoms of the problem. The problem comes in that humans release their power to these people. They give away their authority over themselves. We give away our power every day. I mean, in every government is funded completely 100% by the people that they rule over. And the people that they rule over complain about this constantly, right? But when did the people ever just say, okay, you know what? We cut you off. You're in breach of contract. We're unsubscribing from your services. Thank you. Go away. We're going to reorganize. We're going to do it differently. You see, this doesn't happen because we've been convinced that we're not capable of ruling over ourselves. Every image of anarchy in popular culture is like, oh, this is chaos. This is going to hell, right? But that's not anarchy. That's chaos. They're unable to direct themselves because they've lost the capacity. It's not because they never had the capacity. It's because they lost the capacity. We have to look to where this pernicious influence actually gains control. And that is in belief. That is in fear, and that is in belief. Humanity is being kept in a state of insecurity, or as it's called in psychology, a state of learned helplessness. This state of learned helplessness is really important to study because this is what creates this condition of willingness to be manipulated. Basically the release of a person's will to authority comes from this state of learned helplessness. And you can see this in domesticated animals, and you absolutely see it in the domesticated human. The human is a domesticated animal, and this was not by self-domestication. There is no such thing as self-domestication. You can't have a domesticated animal without a domesticator. It doesn't happen like that. It's just like you can't have rulers without those that they rule. So this idea that we are self-domesticated is absurd. I try to find maybe a nicer way to say it, but it's absurd. This is why I say things like, we don't have to worry about tyrants. We have to worry about those that obey the tyranny. The problem is that we release our control. We let go of our own inner authority, our autonomy. I'm not trying to say that what is necessary is a revolution, because a revolution, just look at the meaning of the word. The revolution is just going around in circles. It's just a revolving from one control system to another control system. And it has always been this way. What I'm talking about is true rebellion. This is kind of at the core of my philosophy, of my rebel philosophy. Rebellion is the natural impulse to resist domination. Rebellion is not any kind of organized overthrow of the establishment. Rebellion is not any kind of coordinated revolution or anything like that. Rebellion is simply the natural state of mind that resists domination. You'll see it in the smallest animals. A tiny, tiny little animal is going to fight back against, impossible odds, but yet they still have that fight in them to their last breath. That's rebellion. Rebellion is the natural state of mind to resist domination. I call it the primordial spirit of rebellion. And this has to be bred out of any animal that becomes domesticated. This has to be bred out of them. They have to be bred into docility. They have to be bred to be compliant. They have to be bred to obey, because we naturally resist domination. And this is exactly what happens through centuries and centuries of brutality, violence, and coercion. Those that have that propensity to become the ruling elite, those that have the prerequisite psychopathic ability to use violence, to use coercion, to use brutality, those that have that potential, those are the people who step up and take charge. Those are the people who step up and say, okay, here I am. I'm your new leader. We've overthrown that bad guy over there. He's gone, and we're the new guys. And then you just watch and you see the stages in the development of tyranny just reoccur and then, evolve into what we see right now. They say in America they live in a democracy. They don't live in a democracy. It's the same for all the other countries that claim they are serving the people. There has never been a government of the people, by the people, for the people. That's a mythology.